Good evening. This is Cara BC of the Ministry of Uncover No More. I'm finishing up a blog article with three of us in poetry together. The first one is The Raven by Robert Frost, which you can read with a link. I read it through Apple Books on my iPad and thoroughly enjoyed it today. Remember that my brother, Patrick Clayton Beatty, enjoyed it. He was taken, that was my kitty rubbing up against my iPad. He was taken from us the second time when I was 14. He was in, he had been working with my father and finishing his senior year of high school. We went to a very strict private Baptist school. My mother was what is called a monitor. We did the PACE system. After his death, we transferred schools. I was in a strict Christian setting my whole life, upbringing and everything. That existence doesn't exist anymore for me, and I'm moving on as a solitary pagan. I kept trying, but as this blog article on an obscure website will say, I'm being led to give up everything of my past persistent trying to have relationships. I'm just giving it all up. I'm just not going to expect relationships in my life anymore, and I already have a relative who had to do this, and that is Robert Paul Davis Beatty. So I've said before that I was going to become him, but there was too much emotion involved, not just mine, and I'm not going to explain that. And I need to live as a solitary pagan long enough to allow the anger that I feel Margaret Atwood in her, she's the author of The Handmaid's Tale. And this is her Dearly new poems. And I read this on December 3rd and then today. And it is 2 days before my brother's birthday. So, yes, I have gotten my dead back according to Hebrews 11, and that's my brother primarily. Years ago, when I was going through the beginnings of what I'm testifying now, I wasn't sure, but I was fairly certain as a sorceress that I would have. I was told metaphysically that my brother would stay, and that has rung true. He's showed up at times in various ways. That is not to say that I haven't seen others of the immortal realm who tend to know who I am as Tara. They're aware in different places for many years, in Austin primarily, but sometimes they will come out towards my areas, and then I will all of a sudden show up. Some of them have had to be outed because they knew of previous lives of mine, and they get they become bullies. I've been bullied as an exorcist enough. I've been bullied enough. I've no relationships like I had in the past at all, period. I don't know if I'm going to have any deep relationships in my future. I don't think I know anyone who's willing to have deep relationships with me. And I'm the problem. I'm always the problem. So it isn't true. The society is sick, and I'm going to become a solitary pagan more than I've ever allowed myself to be. And I don't know what's next. I need to get used to it. My Uncle Paul did. Some of us just don't fit in. And in my own way, I tried and tried and tried. And it's time for me to stop trying. And like I said, the Crow Tarot actually exactly said just that. It's time to live in the joy of fulfillment. Because despite all of what everyone considers what I did wrong and continue to be wrong, I did work hard, and I will continue to work hard. This family of mine is still very Christian in one's own. It's very actions oriented, and I was doing the wrong things the whole time to many people in this family. I've been outnumbered in the bullying. I have found the source of it as I continue to study philosophy in the book Paganism by Joyce and River Higginbotham. During Aristotle's time, there was a very vicious thing about women, which is still playing out in this day and age. And that is that we were and are a lesser form of men. I've already released a YouTube, a Twitter, a TikTok. I've been cleaning up social media today, so I'm getting a little of the backwash of it here. I already released a TikTok one. It's actually the other way around. If you didn't have women, there would be no men. And so men, the way they have treated women historically, men in power, you're the monsters. And my role as an exorcist was never accepted. Men are accepted better in this role. I'm still the sorceress. I still love everyone. But I canceled everything that I was continuing to try to do to just foster fellowship, to try again. I canceled it all. And then I came in and read my Crow Tarot, and they were telling me to do just that. So I have the oracle to tell me that this was the action that I'm supposed to do. I'm being very realistic and one-sided, but I am the person that has a therapist that agreed after hearing everything that was being said and done around me. I was disinherited, so there's no going back from the actual fact of me being disinherited, and it's wrong. It's morally wrong. But I was told by my therapist, yeah, it's in agreement with me. It's like, should I even continue to apologize for these things? Which I do. I over-apologize because I'm still being attacked. And there's no relenting. So I don't know how to solve this. And I don't want to hurt anymore. And I don't want to hurt other people anymore. So I'm not retreating exactly. Put some things in place to just try to dwell. and to let everyone know that I love them from a distance. I wish everyone well. I'm proud of my children now. I have taught for years and don't really appreciate it that it was thrown back in my face. I caught it on one of my daughter's social media, and I don't appreciate it, but I taught my family for quite some time. I'm not going to say that I'm proud of you, and the reason that I did that was a justifiably good reason. I don't go with this, well, you made me feel this way or you made me feel that way. Well, you know what? This entire family has made each other feel like shit, and they think that's the right way to be a family. I may not appreciate the Christian religion and how controlling it was, but we did behave ourselves and we did try to be kind with each other. I don't know where the wheels fell off, but we're one in hundreds or thousands of families that the wheels have fallen off. I mean, we'll be there for each other if somebody needs it. We're faithful people. Don't question that. But there's a nicety of fellowship that's been completely blown away between and throughout baby boomers all the way through Z. So I need to get out of it and stop hurting about what has actually happened to our family. I wanted it to be better than this. So many levels. And it's impossible. I have come to the conclusion that it's impossible. So I don't know where I'm going to go from here, but I do appreciate what I have. I appreciate how many of us are hard workers, and we have a nice place. We have secure dwelling and everything. So I have much to be grateful for, and I'm going to focus on that. Leave the rest behind. I need to have fulfillment in my life, enjoy in my life. And if that means I have nobody else, then that's what it means. My testimony is true. I get the impression the immortals on the other side of my immortality, I get the impression they did everything they needed to make sure that I came to this place, because I was being attacked, and they knew it, and they knew that the attack was going to continue because of who I am and because of what I've testified. But everybody's pulled back, and they stayed long enough around me to pull back, and I doubt that they will continue to show up. I'm having to let them go as well, as much as it hurts, because I love them deeply, as I love my family deeply, and the two worlds are not going to meet. So in one world, I'm a liar, and I've been called a liar, and they don't back down. In the other world, I'm treated nicely across the board, and they think I'm a nice person. And I would rather live in their world, and I'm not allowed to do that. It's because I'm treated nicely. I'm treated with respect, because I am an archangel and a human who works hard. I'm flawed too. But I've had other lives, and I know about all that, and I'm going to have to, two things: continue to foster humility as much as possible, and in my own life, nobody else. But that was the thing, is that I found someone social media that is close to me, and you know, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And it's like, you know what? I can say now, since most of my children, all of my children are older, you know, I am proud of how hard they work and everything. I'm proud of all of us, of how hard we work and everything. But to tell a child that you're proud of them is one of those expectation markers that I don't agree with. A child needs to find themselves. Certainly there are families that, you know, the children are supposed to go to high levels of education and everything. That was not our family, and we have found our way as well. And we're not lesser for who we are. This society is very materialistic beyond any way to explain it, number one. And number two, it is a society of individuality, cultishness. And Rudolf Steiner is the one that is unblinding me to that. And he's telling 100% the truth in Philosophy of Freedom. Paganism, it was by Joyce and River Higginbotham, it's simply coming forth that a particular book of the history of philosophy, women, by Aristotle and them that, taught through the years that women are faulty. We're faulty men, which is complete and total deception. Women are still treated like property. It's if you don't do it the way the men around you think you should, you're wrong. And I have a 57-year life since 2008 with a story of immortality embedded within it that proves that women are shit. And that's how everybody wants it to be. So my answer is to be grateful, to foster humility, and to enjoy where I am and continue to work hard and make beauty where I can. I'll close with two things. First, Anger by Miss Margaret Atwood. Anger is red, the color of spilled blood. He was all anger, the man you tried to love. You opened the door, and death was standing there. Red death, red anger, anger at you for being so alive and not destroyed by fear. What do you want? You said. Red was the answer, and I have lived that, and it's not just men. Women have turned on me just equally. Young women. Older women who've been through it tend to understand more. Obviously, Margaret Atwood would not have written that poem. I will close with beauty. I have 4 of these. These are some of my favorites. It's not finished, but I do believe in beauty. So I'm working on, this side is blue. I've got some purple. I haven't finished, but I really enjoyed how this purplish fall of glitter came to be. Isn't that lovely? There we go. Aren't those colors pretty? So, I responsibly hated for a season because people just kept going amongst themselves, and it caused me pain as a mother. There was no stopping of the division. My parents had the same problem in house church among Christians. Post-Christians don't know what to do with themselves and are not interested in real book study, like philosophers like I'm finding. And that's another point I want to make, is the book that Paganism talked about. I don't even want to talk about it too much, but they listed a bunch of the philosophers on there that I was familiar with, one particularly named Friedrich Nietzsche, and I could not read Friedrich Nietzsche. Now I know why. But the 2 that were not on there is Carl Jung and Rudolf Steiner. Were not on the front of that book. There are reasons for that. And Cara BC of the Ministry of Uncover No More is used to showing up with those who are the true way, with the King of Kings. It's just what I do. And I'm not arrogant. I've got the story to back it up time and time again. I am who I said I am, and will continue to be that person, but it is for a time best if I'm solitary, and if I'm invited anywhere, I'm going to keep it short, take plenty to color or read, shut myself off to a degree, and let them have their fun. I don't wish anyone any harm, and number one. Number two, I'm going to come directly against, this is my choice, to come directly against a very, very vicious mindset. And that mindset is to emotionally punish people, starve them emotionally if they don't do what I think they should do. To only give them emotional encouragement, verbally and otherwise, and love, touchy-feely love, if they are doing the correct thing by my standards. And a lot of men are that way. And I had my father apologize to me for not being very physically loving, as far as just a dad who hugged me or expressed love towards me. Neither one of my parents did. And I'm now severely deficient because the whole society is that way. At least where I'm concerned, and I know I'm not the only person experiencing this kind of deficiency. It is a societal issue of many things, but Rudolf Steiner is accurate in my personal opinion, and it's up on my blogs. The cult of individuality has killed our society. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I've put to sleep 2 blogs. They're still on the internet, but I'm not going to handle politics anymore. I'm going to split my 2 accounts. One, I'm going to put quotes of good writing, my own poetry that I copy into books and whatnot, and it's going to be whatever term I choose to use. There will be no politics. I'm going to change that. And then the other one where I'm a green lady telling witches to arise as Sorceress Tara, as Tara. I will pontificate some politically. Everybody already knows around me that I'm a Democrat in a red state called Texas. That is very much an epitome of what Margaret Atwood just wrote. I will type out my poem with the one-legged crow that I saw with trees and whatnot. I love you. This is Cara Coffey of the Ministry of Uncovered.